The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience. Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Jägermeister. Give your beer a real shot this summer with an ice cold shot of Jägermeister. America Day, or Independence Day, I don't know what you guys call it down there, is coming up. Canada Day is coming up, so plenty of room for Jägermeister to get in your life. Plus, there's not a whole lot of sporting events on right now. Sure, Wimbledon is starting, so go check out the new DraftKings offering for DraftKings Tennis. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then you got some golf on the way. Baseball is still going around. But the Gambling Olympics is where we're at. So joining me, one of the participants from Fantasy Labs, from DK Live in the DK Playbook, it's Adam Levitan. What's going on, dude?
I didn't realize we were still doing the Jaeger thing. This is awesome. Jaeger, Wimbledon, Gambling Olympics, it all kind of fits together. All
right, so let's start with just very briefly. You're pumped for DraftKings Tennis, right?
Oh, big time.
So are you like the guy that I have to, like, I'm looking for guys now, like, I don't even like tennis, but I know it's kind of like NASCAR. Whenever there's a big NASCAR race, I got to talk about NASCAR on the show. I feel like now for the Grand Slams, I got to do some tennis content too.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I mean, I love tennis. The last, I don't know, 6-7 years, I follow the whole circuit. The circuit's pretty much like 10 months out of the year. And obviously the only time normal people pay attention is during the four majors. There's a couple of big events. You guys have one up in Canada with the Rogers Cup. There's a couple other big Masters 1000s, they call them, that are big events, but really only people follow the four majors. It will certainly be a huge edge to follow the grind. You get used to seeing where guys are good on certain surfaces. I mean, that's the biggest thing about tennis, is certain guys are so good on certain surfaces and so bad on other surfaces. And you can kind of generate statistics to help you model that and stuff like that. I'll say this, it's not like WNBA, like the edge you can generate in tennis, and I haven't seen the rules yet, but I'm generally certain that the edge you can generate in tennis won't be anywhere near what you could generate in something like WNBA, because there aren't like injury replacements, there's not news, there's not changes in the rotation. It's similar to golf, which I know is near and dear to your heart, where it's just kind of like, hey, if you can find the right statistics, who's going to play well this week, there's your edge. It's not much edge in following news and grinding kind of changes in guys' performance. So yeah, much like I think golf, certain guys have certain tracks. I know you were on Bubba last week, which was awesome. You're going to find that certain tennis players are good on certain tracks also.
Well, the big thing is, like with Wimbledon coming up, grass surface, where are the other grass events? Because like the lead up to the French Open, I think it's the Italian Open maybe also has clay.
Yep, Rome and Madrid are the big lead ups, so both on clay to the French Open.
So what are the like precursors to Wimbledon for grass courts?
Yeah, so the grass court season is very short. There's really only 2 or 3 warm-up events. There's a big one in Eastbourne. There's a big one in Germany. But yeah, they don't, it's just guys getting used to grass courts. I mean, grass courts play a lot like hard court, just faster. So the guys who have the bigger serves have a way bigger advantage on grass. The biggest advantage they'll have all year. Way more aces, and I'm sure aces are going to be valuable on DraftKings. So that's what I would suspect the scoring would be. And you could certainly project aces reasonably well based on guys' serves and other guys' return rates and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you're looking for the rules for all of this, just go to DK Playbook, DKPlaybook.com right now. Alex Jankowski has done a pure intro video letting everyone know all the rules to these single-day slates for tennis. I'm interested to kind of dig into it and kind of go on. Do you actually have a pick for Wimbledon, or are we just going to assume Federer wins?
I haven't thought that hard about it yet. That's an interesting question. Federer took off the entire clay court season, not because he was hurt per se, but just because he knows it's such a grind and he was unlikely to beat Rafa. Just really, really unlikely to beat Rafa on clay. So he took the whole season off, which I think is really good for him. Came back and played well. Some of the preliminaries, I haven't seen the futures odds yet. I would suspect that Federer is one of the favorites. But yeah, there's some guys that can really play now. I mean, there's guys that nobody have ever heard of. Dominic Thiem, who isn't that great on grass, but he's awesome. And Alexander Zverev, I think, from Germany, will at least be a threat to Federer. And I know you've never heard of these guys, but like these are the next wave of superstars.
All right, so the outright betting favorites for Wimbledon, it's Federer's plus 162, Djokovic plus 550, Nadal 7-1, Martin Cilic, am I saying that correctly?
Cilic, yep.
7.5-1, Zverev 16-1, Nick Kyrgios 18-1. Andy Murray, 18-1. Is Andy Murray like hurt or dead or something? Why is he 18-1?
Yeah, hip surgery, and really hasn't played well since he's been back from hip surgery. So yeah, it's gonna be a struggle for Andy Murray. Long time off.
Del Potro is 20-1. I always see him as like a hard court specialist. Didn't he win the U.S. Open?
Did win the U.S. Open. You know, a lot of wrist injuries to Juan Martín Del Potro that curtailed his career. Always thought that he had a chance to be the best player in the world, if not for those wrist injuries. But yeah, it's been tough for him to overcome them. When he's right, though, he's awesome. You realize how much of your audience we're losing right now? We just spent what, like 6 minutes on tennis or something?
Well, I feel like people need to jump into this a little bit, and you actually know. I did not expect you to know stuff about tennis. So like, the only guy I will recommend, I know he's played well at Wimbledon in the past, but like, I hate Milos Raonic so much that I would just fade him on every slate.
Yeah, total stud. One of the biggest studs in tennis, and a lot of these guys in tennis. One of the things about tennis is like I actually think tennis players get the most beautiful girls in the world. You could maybe argue
golfers,
hockey
man,
as well.
Golfers get golf. I mean, when you have that much money, although the international appeal of tennis, maybe you get a higher quality of lady.
It's crazy. Like the guys on the tennis channel, and I watch the tennis channel all the time. Like every morning, I'll just have the tennis channel on in the background. These guys are sick pups. They'll like find the hottest girls in the crowd and like zoom in on them between every point, and they like never like go to a kiss cam on a guy or like show some slob. It's always they find these beautiful girls, they go to the players box and find it. So shout out to the guys at the tennis on the tennis channel. There are definitely some sick fucks over there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like the long odds, like Mayo Gael Monfils. He's like 150 to 1. He's like a clay player though, isn't he? Isn't he just
Gael Monfils is just
he's fast,
wild, flashy, really one of the most fun players in the world to watch, but really unlikely to be able to sustain enough consistency to win.
All right, any like grass potential sleepers, not necessarily to win, but like advance a round or two?
Yeah. The American John Isner has one of the biggest serves. I don't know what his odds are, but he's been playing better than I thought. I mean, had a great clay court season. So I think he should be in there. And I mentioned Alexander Zverev. What did you say he was, like 10 to 1 or something? I mean,
he's 16 to 1.
16, yeah. I mean, dude is legit. In like 5 years, if Rafa and Federer and Djokovic are ever actually done, like Zverev is for sure going to be #1 in the world.
All right, so not knowing the rules, as we don't know right now because they haven't been released yet, unless you go watch that video on DK Playbook, which we can't do while we're filming this. But actually, you know what? I'll throw to the video right now. Here are the rules for Wimbledon right here for daily fantasy tennis on DraftKings. DraftKings is serving up a brand new sport this summer as daily fantasy tennis has arrived just in time for the championships, Wimbledon at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. But don't worry, you don't need to wear all white and keep quiet when playing tennis on DK. You just got to draft the players you think will advance past the first round and will do so in impressive fashion. The way this new sport will break down is that it is truly a daily event. One slate for one day across both the men's and women's draw. Like any other sport, you've got a budget of $50,000, and like golf, you're drafting 6 players. Now, as you might already know, a women's match at a major is the best of 3 sets, while a men's match is best of 5. We've adjusted the scoring to compensate. Man or woman, your player earns 30 points just by showing up and playing in the match, but from there, the scoring changes depending on whether it's a best of 3 or best of 5 match. As you can see, the tweaks are minor, like 2 points for a game 1 in a best of 5 match, but 2.5 points for a game 1 in a best of 3 match. The purpose here is to even things out and still make it intriguing to draft a woman in a best of 3 set match, despite having a potential 2 fewer sets to rack up points in. There are no points for hitting winners, and you don't lose any for unforced errors, so set your focus on aces and converting breakpoint chances. And don't be mad if your player sweeps his or her opponent and misses out on extra points for games 1, because there are added bonuses for clean set wins and straight set victories. So now that you've got the basics, get ready to serve and volley your way up the leaderboard this July. All right, I didn't actually see it, so you have all just seen it. I'm guessing that aces, big serves are going to play. So Isner's one that you can go to from like the first few rounds of things. Like obviously you're going to have like your Gordon Ivanisevics from like 20 years ago who can just go on these runs because of a big serve. Are there any kind of like scrub tennis players, almost like the bombers in golf where, hey, if they can just get hot for 2 rounds, they could win 2 rounds, potentially pull an upset? Is there anyone just like pops out immediately like that? That could be like a good single slate play that could be cheap?
Yeah, you find this on grass courts a lot where people get overwhelmed by another guy's first serve where you literally like can't break him. So you see, what I could assume that if DraftKings is cumulative scoring, meaning You get points for winners, you get points for aces. You want matches to go long, and a lot of these serving specialists, the matches will go long because all the sets will be 7-6, 7-6, 6-7, 7-6, 5-7, 7-5. All these kind of 7 sets will generate a lot more chances. So I think projecting how long a match will go, how many games will be played, would probably be pretty valuable. Off the top of my head, I don't have. I know like for deep sleepers for servers, but I mean just off the top of my head, best servers in the game for sure. Raonic for sure. John Isner. But yeah, a lot of the top players now, Zverev for sure has a big serve. But a lot of top players now, or at least for the last like 5 years, 10 years or so, have been more baseline to baseline players rather than the old school Sampras and guys who always served in volley, especially at Wimbledon.
Which Wimbledon great has the best serve? All these are like historic things. I'm trying to look for it right now. Like we need Andy Roddick back on the scene. Throw him back. What is he like? He's probably only like 35, isn't he?
Yeah, Andy Roddick hung it up when he was still a contender, not a contender to win majors, but he was still playing well, and he decided to just hang it up and move on with his life, which I always respect when guys kind of go out when they still have a little bit left. Certainly has enough money, and he's with Brooklyn Decker. I don't know if you know who that is, but former SI swimsuit model, so he's doing all right.
Do I know who Brooklyn Decker is? Come on, man. Of course I do. All right, let's get to the main event here, the Gambling Olympics. You guys are all going to Vegas. I believe there are 12 of you. Is it 12?
12 official contestants in the main event. I'm sure there'll be a lot of other people there looking for side action. And yeah, but there's going to be a lot of people. We got the most ridiculous house I've ever seen. So yeah, it should be good.
So Brandon Adams, Jonathan Bales, well, the three of you guys, the three donks themselves, you, Bales, and Jennings are all there. You guys each have your own team too, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We each have our own team.
I see you got my buddy Matt Brown in on the action too. That's going to be fun. Scott Blumstein, the 2017 World Series of Poker main event champion. So he's got bucks to throw around. Blackjack Fletcher, Joey Ingram. Oh, you got the odds maker coming down too. He's Canadian from Ottawa, I believe.
Yeah, he was a late addition and has really tilted the skews of power. It'll be 10K to the winning team, and now Bale's team. We lost Barstool Smitty, and Barstool Smitty is the man. But I think for this specific contest, Oddsmaker is going to be one of the favorites. So yeah, Bale's team is loaded now.
You got Paul LaDuca, former MLB player. You got you got Mans, aka the Man's Coin. He's in there too, and Michael Mooney. I don't know who Michael Mooney is. Who's that?
Michael Mooney wrote the book about American Sniper that got turned into the movie with was it Bradley Cooper maybe that ended up starring in American Sniper?
Yeah, the Clint Eastwood movie.
Yeah. So he wrote like this crazy, like one of the most influential, powerful books about the war in the Middle East. And then he also did a profile about Bales for Success Magazine. And he is writing an article about the Gambling Olympics for a publication to be named later. So yeah, he's there to chronicle it. And part of him chronicling is he will be there to compete.
Well, fortunately, he got all that money from American Sniper because it's $2,500 to enter per person. First place so it's the winning team gets $10,000 or the winner gets $10,000?
$10K to the winning individual, and then the winning team will also split $10K, and then there's also prizes for silver and bronze in the individual.
Yeah, so $6,000 to second place, $4,000 to third place. And your team is you, Mans, Mooney, and Ingram. So how do you feel you stack up in the team events?
Yeah, my goal is to get guys who are hungry, man. I feel like LaDuca and Blackjack would be really good at this, but they're just gonna be like hammered and partying the whole time. I went for guys who I think would be focused. We've done some prep work. We've been in the lab with Connect 4. We've been in the lab with Yahtzee. We have some strategies planned out for some of the other events.
You asked me the other day if I was playing Yahtzee, and I was just like, I mean, I've played Yahtzee. Why would I be getting into Yahtzee? I didn't realize it was one of the sanctioned events of the Gambling Olympics.
Yeah, there's actually some interesting strategy with Yahtzee. I don't know if you guys have played out there, but like when to go for certain things and when to punt on certain rolls and when to keep certain numbers on rolls and when to roll again. So yeah, there's actually been a bunch of like papers written that I can't even understand by MIT type of people on both Connect 4 and Yahtzee that I've tried to read and consume and implement. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I tried to get guys like that. I think Mans is underrated, one of the favorites for sure. I think Mooney is way sharper than people give him credit for. And Joe Ingram, we know, is the self-proclaimed prop bet king. Expect him to show up and play well, certainly in the poker event and a couple other things too.
So did you guys like hold like the NBA did this year, where you just had the draft, so you guys got to pick So how did you get to see who to pick first?
Yeah, we don't want to reveal the order because we don't want anybody to feel too good or too bad about themselves. But yeah, we just played rock, paper, scissors to see who got first. We may have flipped a coin or something. I don't even remember. But that's how we established the order, and then we went snake.
All right, so before we get into the actual like main event stuff that's going to qualify, bunch of preliminary and prop bets going around. So some of the ones you're involved in. So what's the 3-point bet with Pete? It's like over under like 58.5 threes or something. That seems like a lot.
He thinks, and you know, when I first heard this, he threw this out to me like a year ago. And anytime somebody, I mean, for those guys that gamble, anytime somebody throws out their own prop bet to you, it's a really bad idea to take it, right? Like they wouldn't be throwing it out if they didn't think they could do it. Obviously, Peter's not a fucking idiot. He's not going to say, I can make 63 pointers if he didn't think he could do it. I've seen him shoot. He's a ridiculous shooter of the basketball when he's unguarded. Ridiculous. Like, I don't want to say, you know, Kyle Korver level, but if you could say Kyle Korver for like the common man, that's what it would be. So yeah, I think he has a pretty good chance to do this. I wanted to give him action just because I thought it was fun. So we have 1,000 on over or under 59.5 high school 3-pointers made. He will be bringing his own ball from Denver. He will be shooting inside. He has to shoot 100 shots from 5 different spots, both corners, both arcs, and then dead on. So yeah, I think that one's going to be really close. I think doing it under pressure while we're filming, while he has money on it, is going to maybe affect him more than he realizes. But in practice, he can for sure do it.
All right, so the tennis bet is you versus Brandon Adams. So you don't have to. Does he get to play with a frying pan? Does he get to play with a real tennis racket? Like, what's the deal here?
Yeah, so this one is a real tennis racket. Brandon, you can go on YouTube. He's played some very high-stakes tennis matches against Patrick Antonius, against Stephen Bass, who I played with the frying pan. Brandon's a very good tennis player. He's really into the tennis scene in Miami, where he lives. So he gave me action on the double bagel bet. If you guys don't know what double bagel bet is, he has to win 6-0, 6-0 to win the bet. I only have to win one game to win the bet. So I've been working with a guy here in Philly, trying to get my backhand right, trying to get my serve right. Had a session today, which went okay, but I'm feeling okay going into this one. I really don't know. It's hard to tell from YouTube exactly how good Brandon is. But like I said, I only need to win one game. So there's all kinds of strategies I can take. I can go for all winners one game. I can try to force him into 4 errors in a game. I can try to hit all first serves. There's a lot of different strategy there that I'm going to try to implement some different things to try to get the game and get the win.
So I would just think that if he is like legitimate at serving, you can basically cross off every game that he's serving in. So I mean, did you spend like the last 4 months just working on a dominant serve?
No, I haven't. My serve, like I'm short. My serve is not going to ever get there. I don't think his serve is like unreturnable though. He definitely has a good serve, but my return is pretty good. I feel okay that I'm able to get balls back in play against his serve. For those that know like the tennis rating system, I'm like somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4.0, and he's somewhere between a 4.5 and a 5.0. So it's a significant gap, but 4.5, 5.0 is nowhere near like the guy I played with a frying pan was like 7.0, like actual professional level. Brandon is a very good recreational player.
All right, so mybookie.ag has actually put up odds on this stuff, and yes, for you, winning a game in this is plus money. So you're a huge underdog to steal a game. You're not huge. It's plus 120, but no is minus 160.
It's amazing that, I mean, like obviously like it's a win-win for both, right? Like it's getting good publicity for us. People think it's funny, and also people are actually like putting money onto my bookie to bet on this. So it's a win-win. I don't know, man. Like they put odds up there. The limits are extremely low. I think I should be favored. I don't think I should be plus 120. I think it's a good bet, but who knows, man? I don't want to tell people to bet on me or not.
All right, so there's a pull-up bet between Bales and Jennings, and it's minus 17 pull-ups for John against Pete. Like, can Pete do any pull-ups? Because
yeah,
if he can do 10, you got to feel like you're starting to inch around the number here.
So we did a pull-up bet in Orlando a year and a half ago. All 3 of us even, no handicap whatsoever. Me, Peter, and Bales. I did 10. Peter did 10, and Bales did like 36 or like something like totally insane. And like me and Peter both really trained hard. Bales, when it comes to weightlifting type of stuff, Bales is like insanely productive based on whatever training he does. So he's been training hard for the pull-ups. I actually think that he's a pretty big favorite to rip off like 30, 35. And Peter said he's improved. I don't know by how much, but I'd be surprised if he could do more than 15. I mean, for the guys out there that think doing 10 pull-ups is extremely difficult, people have no idea. I love when people talk shit like, you couldn't even run a mile in 6 minutes. People have no idea because they're sitting behind their computer. They don't actually go out there and try to do it. I would challenge a lot of people out there to try to do 10 real pull-ups. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's already handicapped against Bales too, because he has to use the wide grip on the pull-ups.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, pull-ups much more difficult than chin-ups. I think that people forget about that. So,
Yeah.
so you have to judge them. So, is there a certain like level that you have to like get all the way down to? Like, do you need to go fully extended on the way down, or is there a limit you can go to before you can pull yourself back up?
Yeah, there was some controversy last time me and Peter went head to head in pull-ups. He said that we should go to our eyes with the top of the bar and then lock out at the bottom. There was question whether he actually went to his eyes on a couple of them. So we're thinking about putting a ruler up on the bar this time, where you actually have to hit your head on the ruler and then lock out at the bottom.
All right, so that makes a lot of sense. But on the way at the bottom, like locking out is going to make this, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I can do 35 pull-ups, but they're not going all the way down.
Yeah.
So they're only really like a half pull-up or a quarter pull-up, and you don't gash yourself out the entire time doing it.
Yeah, exactly. No, when you lock yourself out, it's hard. You disengage your muscle and then re-engage. It's very tiring for your muscles. So yeah, locking out is hard.
All right, so the other props going on. What's the broathlon with you guys and Mans?
Yeah, we did this last year. It's just for fun. We did a football version last year. Man's whole thing is he's like the ultimate bro. He gets paid, he gets laid, he drinks. So like last year we did like a bunch of shots and kicked field goals. We like chugged beers and did a beer mile. It's definitely not my scene. Like I'm not a big drinker at all. I do it for the laughs. So this year we're doing it with basketball. I believe we have a dunk contest at the end where you have to like chug a beer and then do a dunk. We have a skills contest where you like take a shot and spin around and then do skills, knockout, where you can, if you knock somebody out, you can assign them to like take shots and they have to keep going. Just like really, really stupid stuff. And believe me, I actually hate drinking. So this is not my favorite thing. I do love basketball and I played basketball growing up, but yeah, the drinking part really sucks for me. I spit out most of during the beer mile last year, there's video of me in the beer mile. Like I would like put the beer in my mouth and like as I'm running, just like spit it out gradually as I'm running. So hopefully I can pull something like that again.
See, I almost offered up Leonia prop the other day about running a 5K, but I would have to smoke 5 cigs at the end of every kilometer and continue running with the cigarette in my mouth. And that would hopefully even the odds a little bit. So we'll see if we can get that on the go. Because these are, like, I guess the whole point is this is just incredibly fun.
Yeah, it's incredibly fun. I mean, I actually somehow ended up with a bunch of money on the line because I gave Bales, well, not a lot of money, but I gave him 6K. I gave him 5K to win 1K to win 5K, and I gave Peter another 1K on the 6, 12, 18, which we probably shouldn't talk about. But either way, if he beats me in that and I lose some other stuff, I stand to lose, so a decent amount of money. But yeah, it'll all be good fun and worth it for sure.
All right, so the main event, these are the 12 separate events that will comprise the Gambling Olympics. Number 1 is crypto portfolio. So is this what you previously have in crypto, or are you live trading crypto throughout the day?
Buy one coin, whoever goes up the most in a 24-hour period, you get the win.
All right, so what are the limits on this? Like, could you buy a Bitcoin and hope that goes up, or can you like buy some like offshoot Singapore cryptocurrency and have that work out for you?
Yeah, it's going to be percentage based, so you can buy whatever you want. I believe we'll probably use only coins available on CoinMarketCap.com, which has a lot of coins, but not all these little shitbag every single piece of shit coins. So yeah, that'll be interesting. It's going to be. I mean, the crypto market is so fucked right now. It's like it'd be hard if you get one to go up like a little bit. You're going to be in the money. Now,
can Mans just buy the Mans coin back from people? Because the world's first physical cryptocurrency, I mean, it's got a lot of buzz going around. It could be very valuable. That could go up like 5% here over 2 days.
One strategy is obviously to take like a really low market cap coin and just throw like, I don't know, some of these coins, if you throw like 50K or something at it, you could actually make it go up yourself. So if you want to risk that, some people might be willing to do that. I don't think I'm going to take that strategy, but that's definitely an option.
So you actually do have to buy the crypto.
No.
So it's not real money.
You don't actually have to buy the crypto. I'm just saying it would be a strategy to actually put a lot of money into the crypto and make it go up.
All right, see, then now you're using outside influence, or anyone who bets on someone to win that particular one. You can make a bet on that, and then bet on the crypto at the same time. It's like a PGA double. You're playing Euro Tour, you're playing PGA Tour. You hit them both, and boom, it's an exponential parlay. So I like that one. So daily fantasy sports, you guys are running. I guess you could potentially, if you haven't decided on the rules yet, you can mix tennis into this mix now too.
That's a great idea. We actually haven't finalized this because people are bitching because I obviously want a WNBA in. They want only baseball. But we'll see. Unfortunately, we don't have any golf. The event is Monday, Tuesday, so there won't be any golf. But yeah, for now it's just 3 slates, 2 baseball slates, and 1 WNBA slate. Whoever gets the most points wins.
All right, and that's just a contest run between all of you guys.
Yeah, it'll be on DK, free contest, and there'll just be 12 of us in there. Yep.
Okay, for the sports betting portion of this, is there a cap that you go in with a certain amount of money, or could you potentially take as much money as you want? Is it percentage profit, total profit? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, I think it's total profit, but everybody's just going to start with $100 of fake money. So one option would be to make like 5 $20 bets, which I actually don't think would be right, and another option would be to make one $100 bet, which is probably way more correct, but people are going to do different things, parlays, whatever you want to do. But yeah, whoever wins the most money wins.
So, and where it's Monday and Tuesday, is there a cap on the number of bets you can make, or can you just go until you run out of money?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 24-hour period. You go until you run out of money.
All right, so the next one is blackjack, and I assume that's the same thing. You start with a certain total and see how much you have at the end.
Yeah, very skillful game blackjack is. I fucking hate blackjack. Yeah, I think it's so fucking stupid. But a lot of things. Go ahead.
What are your casino games then? Besides
I don't
poker?
Play casino games
ever.
I've never gone in the pit. I never moshed in the pit, man. That's the thing, man. People think that like everybody's just when I play WNBA, when I play dude with a frying pan, when I'm doing this double bagel stuff, I actually like think it's a good investment for me. Playing blackjack, playing slots, playing 3-card poker is never ever a good investment. So yeah, it'll be fun. It's hard to come up with events that are a fair playing field for everybody. Like if it was me, I would say let's just play WNBA DFS and let's play ping pong or whatever. Pick all my best games that are really skillful. It was hard for this to come up with events that are mostly luck and a little bit of skill. All
right, beer pong is the next one, played over Monday and Tuesday. So you're not going to be great at this one?
I mean, if I don't get last in beer pong, it's insane. I've worked on my game a little bit, but yeah, I'm like some people have that like kind of throw where they have like
the spin.
It looks like a professional beer pong throw. I do not have.
You have to do like the over the top, and just if you can get either the back move or you can get the top move. When the spin hits, it'll spin right into the cup.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing it like a fucking basketball, So I have no idea. And more drinking events. It's just I'm not looking forward to that at all. But this is what I'm talking about. We couldn't get events that like everybody was good at. It wasn't possible.
Well, I mean, if it's going to be the Olympics, it's like the decathlon. I'm sure there's some people that aren't great at the hurdles, but they're top-notch high jumpers, and you got to pick your poison sometimes. You got to eat it. So the next one is AC Deucey. What is AC Deucey?
Yeah, really, really fun game. One of my most fun card games to play. Basically, all that you do is everybody gets a certain amount of money or chips, and you go around in a circle, and everybody one at a time gets 2 cards. The idea is to get your third card in between the first 2. So if you have a queen 4 and you get a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or jack, you win the pot. If you get outside that, you owe what's in the pot. And if you hit your post, a queen or a 4 in this instance, you have to double the pot. And it just keeps going around. The pot keeps getting bigger. You can pass if you want. If you get like a 10-6, you can pass because obviously it's really low odds. You would hit a 7, 8, or 9. It's a little bit hard to explain, but it's one of my most favorite and fun games.
See, I got thrown off by the name. I've always just called this game Posts.
Posts, or Between the Sheets, people call it. Yeah, there's a lot of different games.
Yeah, no, this is a great game for whenever we just like buddies of mine just go play like poker at someone's house on a random like Saturday night. This is what everyone who gets eliminated does. Right.
So obviously most of the people going to this have a lot of money and like to gamble. I could see like side action on AC Deucey just getting completely out of control because people post all the time, people pot all the time, depending on what the ante is. You can get some really big pots. So we will be filming the side action, which I think could get really, really out of hand.
So, okay, the one you've been training for the most, I would guess, Yahtzee, bracket style, matchups chosen at random, buys and standings determined by the score. So you're not only trying to win each game of Yahtzee, you're trying to blow people out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had never played Yahtzee until about a month ago, and I downloaded an app to my phone called like Yahtzee with Buddies, and I've been grinding every day. I think I have the optimal strategy pretty much down. A lot will come down to luck of the dice, but I think I have the right strategy, and that's really all you can ask for.
All right, so the next one is Connect 4, obviously. I feel like everyone likes to think that they're an awesome Connect 4 player.
Connect 4 is actually a really deep game, not as deep as chess, but you kind of have to think the same way in that if I do this, what's going to happen 4 moves down the line. There's some advanced strategy I've read about odds and evens and player first versus player second when the board gets full, which when you're playing with 2 good players, a lot of times the board will get full and then other people are forced into certain rows and you have to know whether you're odd or even. That's a little bit over my head. I'm trying to get it, but yeah, there's all kinds of moves you can do. I don't want to talk about them on here, but I've been working on a lot of different moves that you can do to trap people and playing on an app online as well.
So when you do research for this, are you reading like dissertations on people with Connect 4? Are you going like watching YouTube videos? What's the move here?
Yeah, there's some good stuff on YouTube for both Yahtzee and Connect 4. I mentioned those MIT articles. There's one for Yahtzee and one for Connect 4 also. You can kind of quickly tell if people actually know what they're talking about or not. But yeah, YouTube is an amazing resource. Like anything you need. Like my wife couldn't figure out how to like get the board out on the stroller so my older kid could stand and like skateboard while the other kid's in the stroller. She just YouTubed it in 1 second. She had the board out. So YouTube is an amazing thing. I actually wasn't using it enough until couple years ago.
Yeah, I'm one of the most inept people on the planet when it comes to being handy, but I was able to change the window in my car just by going step by step through YouTube. It's like punch in the type of car, how do I do this? It takes like half an hour. It's awesome.
Wow.
Save yourself a lot of money that way. Rock, paper, scissors, bracket style, chosen at random, best of 21 head-to-head matchup. So could you potentially play guys on your own team in the first round?
Yeah, the team component is just, it's going to be random, the bracket. So yeah, the team component is what it is. If you play your guy in the first round, it is what it is. Rock, paper, scissors, I think people underestimate how much skill there is in rock, paper, scissors. You can definitely pick up on tendencies people have. And over a course of a best of 21 match, there's obviously a lot of tendencies. Bales put this in and he made it best of 21, which is just totally absurd because he's really good at rock, paper, scissors. I've been playing him and beating him lately because I think that I've picked up some of his tendencies, but we'll see. Playing a brand new person, a random person is always hard because you don't know what they're going to do.
All right, so Laden Thinks is the next event. So that's a trivia contest?
Not exactly. We play Laden on 3 Dunks. It's a famous game from live poker. It has nothing to do with what the right answer is, but one person asks another person, how many women named Tina have had sex in Alabama in the last 24 hours, right? And obviously we'll never know what the right answer is, but you ask somebody that and then the other people guess what that other person will say. Whoever gets closest to what the other person will say wins the money. It has nothing to do with what the right answer is.
All right, so a lot of these games are just playing the tendencies of the people then.
Yeah, so a big mistake people make in Laden is they try to think what the right answer is and then write it down. You need to, if you're playing Laden optimally, you need to think about how the other person thinks, how they will come to an answer, and then write that down. And it has nothing to do with what you think the answer is.
So there's 22 questions on the list. So an example of this, as listed here on the site, how many black holes does Peter think exist in the universe? So you would have to try to guess what Pete would write down.
Yeah, we did this one on 3 Donks, and like I said like 3 trillion, and Bales said like 100 trillion, and Peter said 5,000. So sometimes, you know, you just have no idea.
So how do you just determine it's like whoever's it's like a closest to the pin competition, whoever's closest gets the point?
Whoever's closest gets the money, yep.
All right. And then the last one is standings prediction. So you actually have to write down Monday morning how you think the standings are going to finish, and whoever is the most accurate gets it?
Exactly, yeah. This one's really interesting because it brings in kind of DFS strategy, right? A lot of people, I think, know who the favorites are. I think Brandon is a favorite. I think Bales is a favorite, regardless of what the odds on my bookie are. I'm just saying who I think the favorites are. So people are going to make them the top. However, as we know, with DFS, there's a lot of value in being contrarian when you're in a contest like this. So there will be some strategy to people taking underdogs to finish well. I think it's an interesting concept and certainly applies to a lot of gambling where it's hard to be both contrarian and right in life for sure. definitely in gambling. But when the times you get paid off the most is when you're both contrarian and right.
Well, I think the way that you would have to go about it is if you think that if you had the potential to win, to put your close as top to the standings as you could be, because if you were at the very last competition and you are near the top of the standings, this would push you over the edge.
That's an interesting strategy, kind of double up. Yeah, that makes sense. I haven't thought fully through optimal strategy for this. I'm going to think about it. But yeah, that's definitely something to consider.
All right, so with so many brackets going on in this and head-to-heads and everything, why not have 16 people?
We had enough trouble finding 12. Let's put it that way.
All right, I would say like 8 or 16 would be like the optimal amount of people for this.
Yeah, you would think. You would think, yeah. I think we wanted to have at least 3 teams of 4 to give a team component. And yeah, we had people lined up that came up with other commitments. We had people who, didn't want to put the money up. There's all kinds of things that happen, and wouldn't surprise me. A lot of times when you're dealing with gamblers, there's a lot of flaky stuff going on. It would not surprise me at all if we lost one more before it starts, but we have some backups on retainers. So yeah, it'll work out, but yeah, it's harder than you think to get 16 people to commit.
So are you guys staying in like separate hotel rooms for this? You're renting one big house in Vegas? How's this going to work?
I actually think we might have the most ridiculous house in like the entire Las Vegas region. It's at least by the pictures, it's the most absurd thing I've ever seen. So yeah, we'll all be in this house together.
And you're going to get Mans to make some videos from this?
Mans, I'm sure we'll be making videos. We have guys from Action Network coming out to chronicle it, do articles, stream, Periscope. Expect it to be covered pretty well, and yeah, hopefully get a good final product up on YouTube, and then try to grow it from there and get it bigger and bigger to the point where it's bigger than the actual Olympics, which to me are really fucking stupid. So
yeah,
I think this is much more interesting.
We should have done that show, because I'm big on how much I hate the Olympics as well. I would love to see this be. Listen, if I can sit around and watch people play Connect 4, much better than watching biathlon.
Yeah, I had so many people get in touch with me after my frying pan match being like, that was the best sporting event I ever watched. Like, thank you. And there was so many people that had action that I don't even know about. People were betting each other on the frying pan match. So yeah, I think there's a bigger market for this than people realize.
All right, final thoughts on the gambling Olympics. What are your odds to win right now?
So obviously, if everybody was even, everybody would be 12-1. The odds on my book here, obviously juiced. I think everybody would be like 6-1 on there. I think true odds for me, I think I would be like a slight favorite, just because I'm taking it more seriously than other people, and I've thought about strategy. I'm not going to be fucking hammered the whole time. So yeah, I think 6 or 7-1 for me is probably a fair number.
And you think that Brandon is probably the favorite out of all the individual competitions put together?
I actually think Bales is, because he came up with most of the events and skewed them to his strengths. But in terms of Brandon does not get rattled under pressure whatsoever. Brandon's gambled high stakes a lot. And, this obviously isn't high stakes, but for Brandon at least. But yeah, I think he just thinks about gambling in a way that will give him an edge, and Peter does too. So yeah, I think there's a lot of the favorites there. Underdog for me is for sure the Mans. I think Mans is going to perform really well. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Adam Levitan, host of the Daily Fantasy Edge podcast, which you can go subscribe to, rate and review. And we got a bunch of more fantasy football talk coming out over the coming weeks, too. So I guess people can pay attention to that. Anything you want to retract on? Because we did it before Mike Evans, with Mike Evans before Jameis got suspended. I don't think that affects anything at all, with Mike Evans at least. How good is Jameis? Fitz is just going to chuck it up.
Yeah. Jameis is, I would say Jameis is not afraid to throw into double coverage, often to his detriment. I mean, that's, one of the reasons he's been a losing quarterback. I definitely think it hurts. I mean, Jameis has such a bigger arm. Haven't thought about how much yet, but as we talked about on the shows, I mean, 3-game suspension to start the year is really not, if you can't overcome that, then you're probably not good enough anyways.
All right, Adam Levitan, check him out on Fantasy Labs, on DK Playbook, the Daily Fantasy Edge podcast, and on Twitter at Adam Levitan. Thanks for being on, dude.
Thanks for having me. By the way, did you do SEO, fantasy football stuff? I mean, are we absolutely crushing with this fantasy football shows, rankings, sleepers, bust, fantasy football? Shouldn't you be at the top of all of the YouTube by now?
Well, let's see. Let me Google YouTube and see what comes up. The problem, you can rig everything with SEO as much as you want, but like NFL Network is just going to dominate you always. So fantasy football rankings. If I just type that into YouTube, yeah, we do come up first. Boom.
Yes. See? I knew it.
It's
king.
It's working. It's working. It takes some time to get into the system. So the more we can put out with the name Fantasy Football Rankings, or even Fantasy Football Rankings 2018 Fantasy Football Rankings, type all this shit into the tags, you're just gonna get up there in the search engine.
Let me ask you a question. What if you tag it or title it Fantasy Football 2018 Rankings, and then you don't talk about that. You talk about like DraftKings Tennis.
That could work, although if you end up like, I think there's a ratio between like likes and dislikes. I don't know exactly what the algorithm is, but that's why I always encourage people to like the video, because it helps the search optimization, and the more comments that it gets that don't get downvoted, almost like Reddit in a way, that helps push it up to the top of the analytics as well. So there is stuff you can do to rig this. I've been playing around with this for like 5 years now, and I'm starting to do it. The problem is sometimes I'll throw just a grain of sand into the computer board and like change the analytics, then you're just fucked.
Right.
Facebook.
I'm fascinated by all that.
Facebook did that. Like Facebook had an algorithm that I had figured out, and then they changed it. Now I have no clue what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm fascinated by all that. I'm glad to see we're at the top, though.
All right, so here we go. So we got more coming out too, which will only help, and I'll try to link them back. Hyperlinks always help this stuff, especially within products, pushing back to your own content. They really like that stuff, so we'll see. There's a ton of more stuff coming out. We got like 6 more football shows that me, you, and Koff recorded, so people can look forward to that. But enjoy yourself in Vegas, dude. I hope you win.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm Pat Mayo. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ThePME. And remember, the Pat Mayo Experience has been brought to you by Jägermeister. Give your beer a real shot this summer with an ice cold shot of Jägermeister. Give the episode a like, rate, review, iTunes, Spotify, all that fun stuff. And I am out of here. Enjoy Canada Day, enjoy America Day, and be safe. All right, I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!